Hey guys, welcome to the AFL Sunday betting preview. Three games we're going to look at, and I'm going to give you my best bets for these matchups. So far this weekend, we hit the same game multi in the Carlton Richmond game, then missed either team to win by 24 or less in the Collingwood Sydney game, with Collingwood playing very, very poorly, and then hit the over 169.5 in the Essendon Hawthorn game very comfortably. And a couple of plays still pending as I'm recording this on Saturday afternoon. We've got the Saints plus 13.5 and Gold Coast versus Adelaide, 168.5, taking the over. So looking at the matchups tomorrow, firstly, the Melbourne versus Western Bulldogs is the early game. You would think, like, just instantly looking at this matchup, the way Sydney Melbourne kind of hung with Sydney last week in Sydney. Now coming back to Melbourne, Sydney have obviously come out and been big winners since. That would instantly lean you towards Melbourne. And yes, I think they're going to be advantaged playing this game at the MCG against the Bulldogs. However, I think the Bulldogs are a chance to win this game, but I just want to stay away from it. So this is going to be my non-betting game. The reason being is I just want to see how the Bulldogs turn up, and I also want to get another game in on Melbourne to kind of form more of an opinion on how I think they're going to go, because I think they're going to drop off a little bit this season, and I think the Bulldogs can move up a bit. So I think this is a good opportunity with these two teams going up against each other to get some lines on how they're going to perform this season. And just quickly note on this game, both teams are really strong defensively. Melbourne top two defense as they've been for the past 3, 4, 5 seasons, and Western Bulldogs are kind of like a sneaky good defensive side. They might not be able to match up very well against the Melbourne forward line, so that kind of tips a little bit more of an advantage into the Demons' favor. But I am going to stay out of this game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bulldogs came out and won, but we'll just wait and see. Port Adelaide versus West Coast. I am going to bet into this game. Port are big favorites, about minus 49.5 as it currently stands, and I think this game is just a matter of how much Port Adelaide win by. At home, they really shouldn't be losing this game. So how I'm going to play this, because I generally don't like taking big lines like that at 40 to 50 plus points. So I'm going to play a same game multi here. So the legs that I'm going to go with is we're going to take Port Adelaide to win this game. Then Zach Butters, 20 plus disposals. He's hit this number in 22 of 25 games last season, and he had 25 against the Eagles last year. Then we're going Connor Rosie, 25 or more disposals. This hit in 17 of 25 games last season. He only had 4 games as well with less than 23. So basically 21 of his 25 games, he had 23 or more. So he should be right around this mark, especially against West Coast. Last season, the West Coast Eagles conceded the second most disposals to any other side. So we know Port Adelaide are going to rack up the numbers against them, especially when we look at handballs. So the Eagles conceded the most number of handballs, were ranked 11th in opponent kicks. So we know teams are going to be able to run through them with handballs. So hence the reason going with Rosie 25 plus. Both Rosie Butters and Ollie Wines are big disposal getters, especially Ollie Wines. But these are the two players that I have been elected to go with here. Rosie, the reason why I'm taking him the 25 plus instead of Butters 20 plus and not the other way around is just because of Rosie has a better record against the Eagles. Last season, he was able to get 29 and 31 in his past 2 games against the Eagles. So I think he's more likely to hit the 25 plus, but I think they both easily clear their numbers. And then lastly, Tim Kelly for the Eagles to get 25 or more disposals. He hit this 19 of 22 games last season, and in his last 2 against Port Adelaide has hit 34 and 31. So he should sail over that number. The odds for those 4 legs is $2.37. I feel like this is a game with Neds and Ladbrokes that you do get, if one leg loses, you get paid back as a bonus up to $50 and that kind of thing. And I feel like these 4 selections is going to hit 3 of the 4 or 4 of the 4. I'd be surprised if 2 or more are lost, barring any injuries or anything like that. And then the final game of the round, Fremantle take on Brisbane. Looking at the history of this matchup, Brisbane Lions have won 4 of the past 5, and aside from the last game where they only won by 3 points, have pretty much beaten up on Fremantle. Fremantle did win in 2022 at Optus Stadium when Lions were only a 4.5 point favorite. This line has come down. It was minus 11.5. It's come down to minus 6.5, and I'm definitely going to take that for the Lions. So Brisbane minus 6.5. I think they bounced back. They have a point to prove after the way they lost last week against Carlton. Carlton have obviously come out and performed well since then. And the Lions just match up so well against Fremantle. Fremantle, bottom 8 side in attack, bottom 8 side in most defensive categories as well. Brisbane, top 2 attack, and pretty much a top 4 to top 6 defensive side as well. So Brisbane, even on the road, this is a very winnable game, and it's important that they win it for their top 4 hopes at the end of the season, because they're going to, if they're not going to go undefeated at home, which they've already lost 1 game, but still think they're going to win, 10 games at home, they're going to have to pick up these wins on the road, and it kind of starts with winning this game. So definitely like the Lions to beat Fremantle. I think Free's being slightly overrated this season. There is a little bit of hype about them. One thing I will point out about this game is I'd definitely just be a little bit cautious if you're betting into the player props for this game. Both these sides don't concede many disposals to the opponent. They're ranked 3 and 4 in opponent disposals last year. And ranked 6 and 7 in uncontested possessions. They don't let the opposition rack up numbers, so just be cautious if you're taking player props in this game. Overall, if you're following along, good luck. Hope you guys have a winning Sunday. And if you like videos like this, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and I'll keep posting more of them. We'll go through and keep previewing matches right throughout the season. My goal with this channel and posting this information is to help you guys level up your betting knowledge and the research that goes into the bets you're putting on, because by doing that thing and then matching it up with your betting bankroll and managing your bankroll and staking correctly with the right mindset, you can make an income betting on sports like I've been able to do for the past 12 years.